Hello there Kangaroo Bros, welcome to entry 19 in Bruce Gaming Diary. Today I want to approach this a little bit different than usual, as I just finished playing through Yakuza Kiwami. Instead of going through the game's events step by step, I will give you a summary of the game's story, what I liked about the game, what I didn't like about it, and if I would recommend you to play this game yourself. Why? Well, simply because I don't want to spend 10 plus videos on a single game. So stay tuned for further changes. But back to the game itself. What happened next in the game's story? Let's have a quick rundown. Mizuki's corpse was found in Tokyo Bay, but it later turns out it wasn't really her, so don't worry. Kiryu and Nishiki finally meet face to face after 10 years, and they don't get along very well. Haruka is kidnapped twice, first by mysterious man in black and later by the Chinese snake flower triad. Kiryu has some kind of violent and kinky past with the triad's boss Long.
Nice.
Our hero travels to his hometown Yokohama to save Haruka and racks up more property damage. He of course saves Haruka, escapes and learns that the first kidnappers belong to a covert government agency called the MIA, led by a guy named Jingu. A lot of bad guys suddenly show up on the highway too. This is strangely familiar, but more on that later. It then turns out that Reina was spying on us for Nishiki. Since she wanted to tell us the truth, she is killed by his man for it. Shinji tried to save her, but he is killed too. Tragic. But hey, at least I don't have to pay him back the money I owe him. Kiryu shows off his parenting skills by slapping Haruka, taking her gambling, and to a brothel. The visit at the brothel is necessary though, as we have to go there to bring Shinji's girlfriend the news of his death. She reveals that Kazama is working with a guy from the Omi Alliance, called Tereda, who's hiding him on a ship in Shibaura Wharf. Kiryu can't go there yet, as Majima shows up for a final battle. Meeting Kazama, he drops more truth bombs on us. First, Yumi actually is Mizuki. Second, Haruka's father is the politician Kyohei Jingu, the MIA leader I mentioned earlier. Turns out the stolen 10 billion yen are his, and he is a big meanie. The reunion is cut short though, as Shimano and his men show up to kill us. Why? Well, he's a traitor too. A fight on a boat. Not like I've seen that in Yakuza 0 before. Kiryu defeats Shimano again, and the bastard resorts to dirty tricks. Under his dying breath, Kazama reveals that Sera was actually a good guy, working towards taking down Jingu. Daddy Kazama also confesses to Kiryu that he killed his parents. For some reason. Kiryu and Haruka make their way to the Ares bar to meet Yumi, and they come together as one little happy family. Until Jingo shows up to kill them all, to keep his dirty deeds hidden and to take his money back. Father of the Year right there. Kiryu reveals who the Tojo clan's next chairman is, and celebrates by slapping the shit out of the MIA and the Jingu. Time for the big finale, with Nishiki showing up. He reveals that he's just a jealous little kid and the two former best friends throw down. After that, Yumi wants to blow up Jingu's money, but things go south. Nishiki redeems himself by offing the asshole and by making it rain. He wasn't lying when he said this in Yakuza 0. Sadly, Yumi succumbs to her wounds, leaving Kiryu and Haruka behind. So what's next for our hero and his friends? Kiryu got introduced as the 4th chairman of the Tojo clan, just to retire immediately after. Date decides to spend some time with his daughter, and Haruka finds a new home with Kiryu, walking into a bright future with him. So that's the story of Yakuza Kiwami. Is it good? Definitely yes. The stories may be the main reason why the Yakuza games are as successful as they are. The twists in it are a little bit cliché and foreseeable. On my first playthrough, I knew immediately that Yumi was Mizuki. But I like to think that they hinted at the twist early on, since Yumi can mean nice evening and Mizuki can mean beautiful moon, connecting the two names in their meaning. I also really enjoyed the sub-stories in the game. I always tried to complete them 100% and they mix things up a bit. The Majima Everywhere campaign was really fun too. I haven't talked about that yet, right? This is the means to upgrade Kiryu's Dragon of Dojima abilities. Basically, you will run into Majima and have to defeat him to reach the next rank. He will stalk you throughout the whole game, either in his usual getup, as Officer Majima, everyone's favorite idol, or as a zombie. Even after you finish the campaign, he is still there, following you every step. He forces his way into fights, stalks you at fast food restaurants or in convenience stores, and even shows up in the arcade to challenge you to masking battles. You can also challenge him in pocket circuit races. I especially enjoyed those. Every Majima rank is finished with a little mini-event, giving Majima more screen time. That's always a plus in my book. I also enjoyed that the game's main bad guy, Nishiki, doesn't really show up until the very end of the game. The game does a good job in telling the story of the loss of his sister and people constantly talking down to him for not being as great a guy as Kiryu, nudging him closer to the edge until he finally snaps. It gives him more character than the usual "I am evil because I want money" and power shtick. Not like the game doesn't have enough of those. Since Nishikiyama was a big and prominent part in Yakuza 0, his portrayal cut really deep for me. But I have been singing this game's praises for a while now, so let's take a look at the stuff I didn't enjoy. The gameplay. Not like there's anything wrong with it per se, but besides the minigames, sub-stories and collectibles, pretty much everything stays the same regarding the main objectives. Every chapter plays out the same. Start with a cutscene, go to this location, fight those bad guys, learn this story bit or twist, fight a boss and move on to the next chapter. Which brings me to the elephant, or should I say truck, in the room. There's one part of the game where it decides to introduce something new regarding the gameplay. Kinda. Just like in Yakuza 0, there is a highway chase, since that has been so much fun back then. Suddenly, you have to gun down bad guys. I remember that this part wasn't too bad in my first playthrough, but in the current one, on the Legend difficulty, this has been hell. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for hard difficulties in games, and I do enjoy all the Dark Souls and Cat Marios, but my problem with this part of the game has nothing to do with its difficulty or my inability to get good. As I mentioned in an earlier video, the Legend difficulty removes checkpoints and restarts the whole game once you die. Meaning you have to try again from your last save. And that's the problem. The highway chase takes place in Chapter 9, after you saved Haruka from the Triad. But guess what? You can't save during Chapter 9. And for some reason, the autosaves are gone too. Should you die during the highway chase, which you certainly will, unless you're a video game god, you have to fight your way through the Triad's hideout and defeat Lau Kar Long before you can try again. Sounds like bullshit? Because it is. It took me 4 hours to finally beat this part, and to be honest, I was very close to rage quitting. Since there are only 1.7% of Steam players who finish the game on Legend difficulty, I'm sure I'm not the only one complaining about this. Other than that, I have no major gripes with the game. Fewer of those time-wasting random encounters would have been nice though. Would I recommend Yakuza Kiwami? Definitely. I had a lot of fun playing this game for the channel, and honestly, I wish I did so earlier. You should give this game a go if you are a fan of open-world, story-heavy games. For the love of God, just stay away from the Legend difficulty. Unless you're a masochist.